Welcome to the official YouTube channel for the Colin Cowherd podcast. Go on, hit the subscribe button. There it is, so you don't miss any of our football content this season. It has been, if I might say, fantastic. It's time to look at this weekend's tastiest matchup on Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Uber Eats. Whereas Denver is better than people think, Denver's got some really good players. Denver has an elite offensive coach. Denver has a college quarterback with 61 starts. And Denver has Cortland Sutton, who, like Terry McLaurin, is just a big target that's open all the time. And I want to pivot to that game because we haven't talked a lot of Denver on our Sunday podcast. So Denver beats the Raiders 29-19. It's the only game all day. If I would have bet every game, I think I would have gotten right. So Bo Nix, his last 8 games, John, 15 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a 104 passer rating. In those games, they're 5-3. If a field goal is not blocked against the Chiefs, they're 6-2. Like, we have to acknowledge now, Denver in dead cap money hell that sacrificed draft capital. I think this is a good team. I watched them again. The Raiders don't have a lot at quarterback, but they've got some talent. I think we have to be honest about this. I think Denver's a pretty good football team.
Colin, I think we could be 7 days away from them being officially, I guess, unofficially a playoff team. Because they play Cleveland this week, and Miami, who's obviously got it together with Tua back. A lot of people think that they are alive and well. Well, they play the Packers this week. So if Miami loses and they are then 5-7 and Denver wins, they would be 8-5. Like, I have a hard time seeing Miami catch them. So this is a massive week. Like, I think Denver's in the playoffs if they handle business this week. Because all of a sudden you start doing the math. Like, they're getting to 9, no doubt, but I think they end up with 10, and they basically doubled their win total. Like, this has been a huge year for Sean Payton. Honestly, it's been a win-win for Russell and Sean. Some marriages break up, go other places, happy as hell with your separate significant others. That's how it's worked out here. So it was never going to work. You thought it. We all thought it. Anyone with a brain that knows these two personalities, even if you don't know them personally, you're like, this isn't going to work. And they broke up, and it's gone well for both, right? And Sean Payton, I think, was pretty lucky that, there was 6 quarterbacks in the, because a lot of them were going high, and it just happened to be a very unique draft because it's not like they were drafted 4th, right? So he needed, some of the stuff was out of his control, and it worked out perfectly. The type guy that he would like is the last guy off the board in the top 15. I mean, it was a historic draft, right? 6 guys go in the top 12, 13 picks. We might never see that again.
And Denver has, in 9 of the last 12 games, and this is so big for a rookie quarterback, they've held opponents under 20. So when Bo Nix maybe struggles today a little bit in a couple of drives, they're not giving up points.
Their DBs are good. I mean, every time I look up, obviously Surtain's good. They have all these other guys. This is why Vance Joseph, which Sean deserves credit for, because you give up 70 points in a game. I would have been like, Sean, you might have to fire this guy by midseason. Stick it out by the end of the year. Last year, they're playing good defense. This year, I think that has to be the most surprise unit of the league. They feel, just on the eye test, one of the best defenses in the league. I know Gardner Minshew today, but the score was a little closer. Like, I never once crossed my mind that the Raiders were going to win that game today.
No, but they've been doing this now for 2 months. I mean, go to the Kansas City game. They outplayed the Kansas City Chiefs. And so on the road.
That's where I think, depending on how Denver more than likely would probably be the 7 seed, though Baltimore, Baltimore already has 4 losses. But if you're telling me 2 of the 3 wild cards are Denver and the Chargers, like, anytime you play your wild card weekend, you're playing an excellent defense, like, you could lose. This is not a 3-7 game series. All of a sudden you have a shitty half. You're down 14-3 in the third quarter. We've seen this every year. So you got 2 teams separate from, obviously, Herbert's, an elite player, but even with a rookie quarterback, we have seen rookie quarterbacks have success in the playoffs because they don't have to do that much. And that's kind of, Bo Nix, as long as he didn't turn the ball over and their defense played a high level game, why couldn't they win it 17-14 or 15-13? They're very comfortable playing that way.
When all your marketing team does is put out fires, they burn out fast, sifting through leads, creating content for infinite channels, endlessly searching for disparate performance KPIs, all takes a toll. But with HubSpot, you can stop team burnout in its tracks. Plus, your team can achieve their best results without breaking a sweat. With Breeze, HubSpot's collection of AI tools, you can pinpoint the best leads possible, capture prospects' attention with click-worthy content, access all your company's data in one place, no sifting through tabs necessary. It's all waiting for your team in HubSpot. Keep your marketers cool and make your campaign results hotter than ever. Visit HubSpot.com/marketers to learn more. Think about this, and I watched them today. Sean Payton does such a good job of two things: defining. He gives Bo Nix about 8 layups. He gives him a lot of easy stuff. And then Bo Nix deserves credit because he is constantly seeking Cortland Sutton. And Cortland Sutton is a basketball player with a helmet. I mean, he's big. Oh, in the corner. Jesus. Big, long, athletic. I've always liked Cortland Sutton. So, and Mims it can be a burner. I like their backs, but you can see he gets Bo Nix easy stuff, and then Bo like Russell does with George Pickens. Bo just attacks Cortland Sutton. But take out Andy Reid. Just take Andy Reid out. Belichick's now not coaching. On any given Sunday, I'd argue Sean Payton's as good a coach as the league has. I absolutely believe that. I think Andy Reid's the best, maybe arguably ever. But now that Belichick's out, take out Andy Reid, he can go toe-to-toe. I mean, I love Sean McVay. They've had some bad offensive halves when people are healthy. So I think a lot of this is, it's just funny because Sean's done things to alienate people. He's outspoken. Remember, he took a shot at the Jets. He was right, by the way. He took a shot at Nat Hackett. He was right, by the way. But when you lead with your chin, you offend a lot of people. You cannot watch Denver and not see the coaching. To me, if you gave coach of the year today, I don't know who you'd pick. I think Sean Payton's now, after that Tomlin timeout mess, clock management mess, I think I'd give it to Sean Payton.
I think it's the one award that honestly, as time goes on, is irrelevant, right? Like Belichick, Andy Reid, they don't even have that many. Andy Reid doesn't have one as a Kansas City Chiefs head coach. Like Jim Harbaugh took over a team that won 5 games. They're probably going to win 11 or 12. And I think the way you just described Sean, I think Jim is definitely mellowed out in his older age, but he was a lot like that early on in Michigan and definitely with San Francisco. And look at those two guys. If you would have said that the Chargers and Denver, whatever the odds, if you would have parlayed those two teams to make the playoffs, Colin, they might make the playoff. They might be resting starters by the last week of the season. And it's not a coincidence that those guys, here's the other thing. And Sean, once he hired Dennis Allen, their defense was excellent the last 3 or 4 years with the Saints. Jim, both offensive guys, former quarterbacks, value defense and will pay for it and invest in it. And that really matters. And I don't think it's shocking. And this is why you're watching the Raiders today. You're like, can you imagine being the redheaded stepchild of your division when you're in that, with those 3 coaches? Like, what do you even do? Like, you better hope Belichick picks up your call this offseason, because if he doesn't, you got no shot.
That was this week's Sunday Night Football, brought to you by Uber Eats as the official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Uber Eats has the best game day deals all season long. Order now for game day.